You're worrying about worrying. That's why I say like you're
Let's get to the sex part.
Okay, so
I want to talk about that.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing because like once I start witnessing my desires, because before I was so into my desire, I became my desire. That became part of who I was.
Okay.
But once I started to like learn about like witnessing, about like meditation and stuff, I started to not that I don't have any more desire. I still have desire, but I look at my desire from the perspective, the void. I don't know if people understand this thing. Like
the way I think of void is like nothingness.
Yeah, but
or like oneness.
Yeah. It's the space
between your thoughts.
Between your thought and before thought arises. And if you access that space, that's what Akitoli talks about here. If you access that space, you are in the power of now. And apparently enlightened people are in that space the whole time, like most of the time. Even when, like I said, even when they have thoughts or the desire, it's not like being enlightened or coming to people with like having no desire. It's that they could witness their desire from that space. Once you witness your desires and you're warning from that space, it sort of just starts to dissolve. You can write it instead of let it write you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like before, when I have sex, when I get horny, when I have sex, I feel like it's writing me. I feel like there's this energy that's pulling me around, trying to look for girls. And I feel like I waste a lot of time doing that. But once I detach myself and detach my thoughts and witness my desire and my fantasies from that perspective, from the void, I'm controlling it. I can still go fuck girls, but like I'm in the driver's seat now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that is part of the acceptance thing I'm talking about. Like you can't once you start witnessing, you're really starting to accept. And once you accept, it's like holding up a mirror to yourself. It's like every time you have a thought, if you just watch your thought. It's the simple thing is just to watch your thought. Like be the observer of your thoughts and your feelings. Once you start doing that, it's like holding up a mirror against yourself. And
right now, are you doing that? Now you are.
No, exactly. So that's the thing I'm trying to work on more and more.
Awesome.
It's like, like the more you do it, like even just like even you can be lost in thought all day. If just like one moment, we're like, dude, I'm lost in thought. That idea of you being lost in thought is you're already cutting through your mind and getting into that consciousness space where you.
Is this something like flow?
A little bit, I think so. Yeah, it's exactly
in the
like
zone.
Flow. Yeah, in the zone, because you lose yourself.
Let's talk about sex.
Okay.
So I'm having discussions like this with Elliot too, and so I've been very sexually repressed in my life by my parents, by my culture, just religion and so on. And recently, what I found is my gluteus maximus, which is that big butt muscle. It doesn't get activated when I squat or when I do extensions. So I saw an Elliot video, and it talked about how this happens with the hips.
Right.
When you do the thrusting movement, that uses gluteus maximus. And he says that if you're sexually repressed, then your neuromuscular connections are fucked up because you have shame. Society is shaming you, so your brain is like
blockage.
So now the neurosomatic therapist gave me some exercises to do to activate my gluteus maximus. Now, the amount I'm lifting at strength camp, imagine how much more I can lift and how stronger I would be if I use the biggest muscle in my body.
Right. Wow.
So you're coming from like the opposite. But is that true?
Kind of. I was thinking that.
That's amazing because I'm always like, that's why I got into RSD because it was like just like that repression in life and kind of like being one-dimensional and just focusing on academics. And then it kind of became the other extreme, right? And now I'm trying to like balance this thing. But what would you recommend for me? Like how can I retrain my brain to welcome sexuality?
They did an experiment on happiness. Like they make people watch movies and see how much they respond, how much they laugh, how happy they are, how funny the movie is. And the people that had a pencil in their mouth, they just bite a pencil, so they force them to smile. Once they form the smile, their brain started to change. So it's like you can tackle it from the behavior, from the, you know what I'm saying, from just start doing it. Like, start like jacking off more, start having sex more. Like if you don't have time or you don't care about finding girls, like pick up stuff, you can just hook her and fucking.
What are your thoughts?
And then your mind can start to open up.
No, I agree. No, I 100% agree. I was having a discussion last night. I was like, man, I don't understand why all these rich people don't just get hookers. Why are they like doing this? And then he was telling me, because they're hunting and all this.
No, that's
like
definitely
cool.
more rewarding.
It's
too.
cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
That's definitely more rewarding.
You like, it's enriching.
Yeah.
It's like with our monkeys in the cages, what we used to do is give them a water bottle and put a bunch of chocolate in there, syrup, and put marshmallows and all this stuff.
Right.
So the monkey would have to turn around the bottle and wait for the thing to like slowly come down, and then he can pick one at a time.
Yeah, because if you
it's enriching. Yeah.
Because if you for certain sure that you're gonna get something, you lose interest. That's why like in relationship you almost have to like play hard to get sometimes. Because if the other person know that she or he has you like all the time, 100%, you're gonna go for it. That's just
shit.
That's just that's default of our minds. And then like the reason like I think that's also like evolutionary too. Because like we have to, it's a reward in itself to find out what you can accomplish, to test yourself. Because like without that, our ancestors wouldn't take risks to go out to hunt, to take risks, put yourself in danger. Because like the bigger risk that you take, the more reward that you have.
Do you gamble? Are you a gambler?
No.
Because, and I know why. You're like RSG Tyler.
Right.
So I asked him this once, why don't you gamble? Because you would come to Vegas all the time. Why aren't you gambling? He says that
picking up chickens is gambling.
That's it. That's fucking it.
Yeah.
A lot of
if you
people,
pay for prostitutes, you know you're gonna get it. Then it's not as rewarding. And it's something in our brain wants.
We need to gamble.
We need that
because there's no
we
animal
need that
to hunt.
uncertainty. But if you're too uncertain, that's also no. It's like if you're 100% sure that you're gonna get something, you lose interest. But you're for sure certain that you're not gonna get it, you lose interest. So you have to be like in the middle. You have a chance to get it tonight, maybe not. You go in with a sort of excitement. You get it. It's a lot of work.
And I want to tell the viewers. So in my channel, I'm talking about testosterone all the time.
Right.
A lot of sex stuff, that kind of thing. Because have been exploring my sexuality in the last 2 years, being with RSD, coming here. I've been, doing well in the last couple of years and kind of like transform myself. I used to be a fat guy. I was 212, man. It was like
some people talk about things that they already experienced, that they don't know a lot about, that they're been. You're talking about things that you're experimenting with yourself.
Yes.
So you're talking about testosterone not because you're already this like Ronnie Coleman testosterone filled guy.
Yeah.
You're talking about testosterone. Your whole piece of it is about testosterone because you're finding out about yourself.
Yes.
The process
and I've improved so much in 2 years. It's such an exponential level.
And by talking about it helps you too. That's great.
That's why I have a video about why you should make videos.
Right.
Because when you project yourself to the world, to the universe, your brain is like listening to it. Also, it's coming out of your mouth.
Because you're teaching people too. Like there's this quote that I read somewhere. It's like you lose like 90% of what you read and like 85% of what you hear, but you gain or like you maintain or like you still have like almost 100% of what you give out.
Yeah.
So that's, you know what I'm saying? Like when you teach somebody something, you're never gonna forget what you teach them. That's the best way to learn is just to teach and to give out. That's the best way to have something to
actually learn.
To give it out. Yeah.
That's cool, man. A lot of the guys they have questions about religion. Right. Because a lot of my guys are because I'm Muslim, brought up Muslim, and our culture is very like you shouldn't have sex before marriage. You should be what do they call it? Celibate. Shit like that, right? Now, because of the religious kind of shaming and their parents are very forceful on them. What would you tell them from a consciousness point of view, because you've studied so many different religions yourself and talked about them and experimented with them? What do you tell people who are in this kind of very tough thing? They're like, man, I can't have sex. Like, a lot of them are worried, man, is my testosterone gonna decrease because I'm not having sex? Even though I want to, my parents won't let me, they're like, lock me in. What do you tell, man? What advice do you give?
I think you should just start stripping away your ideologies. You don't have to tackle sex like directly. You don't have to be like, okay, my parents and my culture so brought me up so that I'm present, just go for sex, read about sex. I think the number one key is just to learn about the world. Once you expand your knowledge, your understanding of the world, once you start stripping away all the bullshit that's been accumulating in your mind through your upbringing and all the ideologies, then you're gonna become free. Like sexuality is just like part of that freedom. You know what I'm
But it's a big part, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a big part. But
yeah.
just sort of read about everything, because most people that are like repressed due to like religious suffering is because they don't know what's outside of it. Once you start to understand what's outside of it, study other religion or like study atheism. You don't have to believe in anything you study, but just get your brain wet in all different kinds of studying.
And then your dick wet too.
And your dick wet too. Once you start stripping away all these filters that's being accumulated, all this dust that's accumulated. What I think that's meditation does. Like maybe the another answer is meditation. Because what meditation does is meditation is like an act of subtraction. Enlightenment is an act of subtraction, not a condition.
Unlearning.
Right, unlearning. So every time you start to meditate, you're just like cleaning your brain. There's so much dust accumulating throughout your life, and daily beliefs, people's opinions, all that crap. You clean that stuff off, and then your sexuality will take care of itself.
Frank has a video where he's naked in Taiwan.
Yeah.
He's naked on the streets. He's in his motorcycle, and like there's like a cop with a whistle.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. That's the first video I saw of him. What a genius video. Now, were you always like that? Like, you have to become like?
Yeah, that's interesting because like I'm always like that, but like the more I push myself to become what I know that I am, it's like I'm digging deeper into like my being. Like I understand who I am, and I just live it very comfortably, and then it's like a muscle that you build almost. Like the muscle is yourself. The muscle is your being. You practice being yourself, and then the more that you mold that, the more you become like that. So like I'm always like that, but like some people are like, oh, your videos are getting more crazy. Like, but like maybe I'm just finding.
And what is now vision? What do you see? What do you see 10 years from now?
10 years from now.
What will be Frank Yang? Being Frank Yang 10 years
like,
from now.
From a superficial level, I'd love to like maybe subscribe to Ellie Halls. But like,
boom!
that's a cool goal.
Nice
right?
goal.
It's very simple. Because I used to have very simple goals. Like I wanted to fuck 100 girls in a year.
And you did.
Yeah, and I wanted to like bench 30 pounds.
And you did.
And then just very simple goals, it's like a number. But then there's so much that goes into accomplishing a number. Because like my process and my work is sometimes it gets so complicated that it's good to have just a very simple goal. But like I just recently I stopped thinking about goals. I started to just be okay with like what I am right now in this moment. I feel like once you get into that mindset, like my goal is everything I thought right now. I feel like it's perfect right now. Just being here in this state. There's no goal. I don't care about goals. I still do in the back of my mind. I still have some goals, but that's still like attachment.
Yeah.
That's still attachment. Yeah. But then,
do you think everything we need is here inside? Do you think we need the world? Like here, we're with like the 12 top YouTube celebrities in the world here, right? And just like me, yesterday I was watching the interviews that Elliot was doing, and I was watching and I was just sitting on the floor and I was in awe. I was like, there's so much genius on this one couch, so much energy, so much enlightenment, and I was so fortunate to watch that. And I was thinking, can I get all that inside?
No, I don't. I think the self, you and the world, is ultimately one. It's a relation. It's a process. Like consciousness and the world is a process. It's not like there's a world and here's me. Can I just have this and can I not have the world? It's impossible. I think we're embedded in the world. We come out of the world. Like instead of being put into the world, people like to think like we're put into the world, but I think we come out of this world. So like the world and ourselves, it's one. So in going back to what we were talking about in the beginning, getting to that consciousness stage, getting to that void is becoming one with the world. So once you become one with the world, there is no question. You don't have to ask that question.
Then there is no world, there is no you.
Yeah.
There's only
the absolute. Yeah.
that. Wow. Oneness.
That's what people are saying. That's why I think, like I've been like having all these different goals in my life, and you do too. A lot of people do, but I think at the end, some people don't realize it, but at the end, not they all want oneness. Because let me give you an example. we were talking about the brain, right? And immediately I started thinking about the feet, shoes. Because when I was in high school, the only thing I cared about was my shoes. I collected like Jordans and Nikes and stuff like that. I look at people's feet a lot because I was a sneaker head. And then I started to get into bodybuilding, strength training, and I started to move my awareness outward. Actually, after the feet, I started to get sprinting.
Okay.
And so sprinting is more like in here, so and then slowly I started to expand and I got into bodybuilding. So my whole body gets developed. And then I started to think about the nervous system. I was like, wait, if I want to continue to get stronger and to build my muscles, what's the secret? Okay, the nervous system, the nervous system, the muscles. And then I started getting into the brain. So like I'm moving halfway. And then after the brain, I started getting into the mind, the psychology. I started to move away from like just like reading about like the different parts of the brain. I started to just get into the different parts of the thing in the mind. And then now I'm in the phase where I'm studying more about this consciousness. Because you can literally talk about consciousness and perfect your state of consciousness without even knowing that you're in the brain. It's like Buddha's monks. A lot of the enlightened Buddhas, they don't even know they're in the brain. Like people in our ancestors don't even know they're in the brain. And they're living fine. Our everyday experiences and our perception of the world has nothing to do. Of course, it comes from the brain, but the immediate subjective experience that I'm having right now, it tells you nothing about there's an organ inside your brain with like neurons inside, there's an amygdala, there's like a hippocampus, nothing to do with it. So I'm moving to a place where I'm just like studying the consciousness and trying to meditate a lot. And the ultimate state of consciousness is being one. And being in that void, having no judgment. Nothing. So I think everybody's goal is just to like one. So
I got you. So it's interesting that I know, 50 years ago, it was only psychology. We talked about that in the car. Right? So 50 years ago, there was no neuroscience because people didn't know what neurons were. I mean, they knew what neurons were, but it was hard to... There was still psychology.
And then 100 years...
Since Socrates.
Like 200 years
Buddha.
Since Buddha, there was already meditation. It was funny because people been meditating for hundreds of years. Like they're conscious. They were studying consciousness. Buddhism is about studying your mind, your consciousness from the inside. Right. And then it's funny because like 200 years later, we started to find out about the brain. And it goes in full circle.
But the way I think is 1,000 years from now, because we're gonna have so much technology and research, we're gonna get the answers in a scientific way. Like I'll give you a simple example, right? So in Wisconsin, there's a scientist who studies Buddhist monks. So Buddhist monks come in, he puts them in an MRI, and while they're in an MRI, they meditate, and he records their brain activity using the scanner, and he's found out that there's an area in the parietal cortex that is there to separate you from the world. You know, like right now, it's me, you, the fucking bees and the water. So man, it's beautiful actually. Right? Look at all the asses here.
So, I don't see any. I saw some out there.
It's true. Actually, it's a bunch of old people. So, you see this, and that part of the brain shuts off during the Buddhist meditation, and they feel one.
Or like when you put electrodes into to induce like certain kind of epilepsy, and then you have like religious experience.
Yes, we talked about that too.
But the thing is like, we're constantly talking about the last frontier of science. We're getting there. Brain science, neuroscience is the science right now. Before it was biology, then physics, now it's neuroscience. Neuroscience has the most research right now. It's growing exponentially. Neuroscience. But then I still feel like there's still a gap that can never be bridged. The subjective experience versus the brain. It's still, no matter how much...
Do you think there's an energy that is in the world that is not here?
I used to think no, but now I think there might be. I used to, like I was telling you earlier today, I used to think...
But does it matter?
Let's get into it. But let me finish this. I used to think like the mind is just locked up in the brain. The brain is all there. My worldview was a lot more materialistic when I was like reading about the brain. A lot of science is all like materialists were convinced that the brain is all there. Yes. But then after I started getting meditation, I started to read, Rupa Shelter.
Oh, you told me about it.
And Davy Bohm and like Whitehead. Guys like that. You should look them up.
Yeah.
But that's how I started reading about these guys. These guys aren't shining away from science. They're still scientists. They know about science, but at the same time they're.
Sorry, I'm interrupting.
We're talking about consciousness. If you
3:45.
want to get in, give us your view. Come over here.
Consciousness.
Girl, come over here. Where are you from?
England.
Nice to meet you, Farhan. This is my buddy Frank. That's Jeff.
Hi.
Come over here.
Nice to meet
Come
you.
over here. Come in the middle. Come over here. So, tell me your name again.
Ellie.
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 Ellie is gonna tell us about consciousness and about the brain and about energy and how to be one with the world. How to be uplifted. Tell us.
Okay. Oh, I'm not sure about that.
Whatever.
You're putting her on the
Hey,
spot.
You know what?
Do you think consciousness is right from the brain? Or is it?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, I do. Done it.
Go on,
She
sorry.
wishes
Go.
not to be in this conversation.
Yeah, actually, I kind of just want to know the time.
Fine.
I would like to be
Disappoint
in your,
us.
no,
One
I would
question.
like to be in your film, but I'm especially going to dinner with my mum and dad early-ish. Yeah, so.
Go ahead. Great to see you.
Oh, and you.
Have a great time.
Yeah.
Good seeing you.
It's 3:45.
Oh,
3:45.
3:45.
She forgot about the time.
It's true, right? He's like, bye-bye.
There is no time, right?
No time. No
When you send it-
time.
when-
It's only what you
You're on vacation.
That's what
Especially
we're
no
talking.
time.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about being reaching the ultimate state of consciousness where time stops.
Yeah.
We're gonna ban watches and clocks.
And then you came to
Yeah.
ask about time, and then
Yeah.
you forgot about it, so there is no time.
That's right.
Are you here all week?
The time is now.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm fine.
Now it is all there is. Okay, so anyway, I still feel like, yeah, there's a lot of...
Did you like that ass?
No, I didn't think so. There's no ass.
There's no.
You want to see my kind of ass?
Brace yourself for the ass of the century.
This is my
Oh, there's so many asses. Yeah.
oh, like this. It's good.
Oh, I've
Did
seen
you
that
get
ass.
this?
That is an ass.
How about this? This is an ass too. This one. Right?
That's it. Oh,
That's
that.
yeah, on the Asian girl.
That's impressive.
That's my
That's-
next girlfriend.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. Once
Well,
again.
I'm gonna bring her to strength next year.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick. Bring her, dude.
Anyway,
She'll
so,
work out with us.
Yeah, she likes to work out.
Some gluteus maximus. She can teach.
Oh, I'm trying to get her to be like more in shape, like super in shape before she will be.
Dude, you're gonna train her. And in mental super in
That's
shape. Time.
That's pretty good. That's, I mean, the
better.
shape is
It's better.
Look at the hourglass. Anyway, so a lot of materials like Daniel the net.
Yeah, I heard him live at my university.
He's so locked
Yeah,
up.
Daniel, awesome.
He's an awesome guy, but he's awesome only in the context of
Yes.
the materialist.
He doesn't believe in all this.
Yeah. But like, I started getting into other like thinkers who are more open to the possibility that the brain might just be a receiver, that there might be. Who is to say that there aren't things that we can detect?
We don't know.
Like, we don't know shit. Yeah. The only thing we know is that, but like you say, it doesn't really matter. Because you don't know, you don't need to know any of this shit to be enlightened, to be an expert of your mind. You can like Daniel knows everything about the brain, but he's not enlightened at all. There's a lot of really smart, intelligent scientists like Richard Dawkins who can tell you everything about the brain, but they're not even close to the state of consciousness.
You think
that-
they're not opening the window, the door?
I think
They're not letting the knowledge in?
I think they are, but I think they are. I think that you need all branches of knowledge when you think about science, like consciousness. I think neuroscience is definitely a very, very important branch. But at the same time, if you're too locked into the materialist perspective, if people believe in it too much, you should never believe in it too much. But those scientists are so certain. They're like 100% certain that there's just the brain. That if you just buy into that too much, it almost becomes another religion where you just like, where you can really take away like your experience and what you subtract from the truth. But it doesn't really matter anyway, because like, well, we were talking about our subjective experience of consciousness, the feel that I have when I'm Frank and I'm talking to you, or I'm looking at the sun right now and it's giving me a certain kind of feelings, your perceptions and all that stuff. They still can't be explained by looking into the brain. You can't look in the brain and say, okay, Frank is looking at yellow, the color yellow, but yes, you have no idea what it feels like to be frank looking at yellow, because that experience only
That's
comes to you.
consciousness.
And that is the ultimate reality, is that subjective experience. And the ultimate reality of that reality is the now. So if you can just focus your attention on just the now right now, and start witnessing your thought, that's all there is. Like, because I think everyone is enlightened with this thing.
Let's continue this
Yeah.
later because I have to get
But this is
banners
am-
done.
this is amazing.
I have to get banners done, and they're probably gonna kill me right now
Okay.
because I turned off my phone. All right, guys. Frank Yang. This is Dr. Testosterone. Tell him your Instagram and all that shit.
Instagram.
They probably already know, but tell
just
them.
just tag your mom.
Okay. In the description.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, and we will see you next time.
This is actually the first time I put a doctor in my video.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
I've always wanted to talk about this
Real
stuff,
doctor.
but like no one's talking about it.
Yeah, and we're gonna have more videos.
Yeah, yeah.
So, dude, you're a sick motherfucker.
Elliot is so lucky to have you.
I'm lucky. I was just telling you right now. Don't ever say that he's lucky. Don't say it. But,
Cool,
all
man.
right,
All right, let's go back together.
let's do it.
Actually, no, I'm gonna stay here and walk around.
Yeah, man. Enjoy the beach. Let's see how this shit turned out.
And then.